Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt, and today we're talking about Etsy and selling on Etsy. Now, this channel generally talks about ads, meta ads, affiliate marketing, and the such, but I wanted to make this video because Etsy is a large part of my life as well, and I think I can make a piece of content that is helpful for those that are aspiring to do business on the platform. I've been an Etsy seller since 2017. I've sold handmade products. I've sold digital products. Done it all. And I wanted to help you guys figure out what niche to get into if you're trying to figure out what to sell on the platform. It can be really competitive, very difficult to find stuff, and some of the tools are a little limiting. And that's why I want to dive into an Etsy tool that I use, and then I'll dive into a web tool that I use for keyword tracking. So it's two different tools at the very least, and we're going to just kind of bounce around a little bit and try to see what the different niches are and how I would kind of do that research and figure out where the lowest competition is. So if that sounds good to you, smash the like button and buckle up. Should be a good one. All right, so we are here. We're on eRank. This is a tool that I use. It's very cheap. It's like $7 for the month. And why I like it is it's very basic and it allows me to get keyword data from Etsy. I can actually look at how my shop is doing, and I can actually look at what other shops are doing, what's selling, what their tags are, all the intricate details and stuff, okay? And over here, I'm on the trends page here, Trend Buzz, and we're just taking a look at what the different topics are, right? So this is a very like bird eye view look at everything. What is moving on Etsy? So this month, we're still coming off of the holidays. It's middle of January, January 13th. So things are definitely in flux. We're not quite where we need to be because we're kind of in between stuff right now. But we're seeing a lot of jewelry popping up, a lot of earrings, last minute gifts, and we're starting to see gifts for like mom and things like that. Okay, and we can see here these little incremental changes. They don't really mean much numbers wise, but we can see on the graph here that things have popped in December, and we're kind of waiting for January to see where things are at, okay? So if I were to go for the last 7 days, which is a nice feature, this gets us ahead of the holidays here. On the other side, we're seeing t-shirts, birthday gifts, phone cases, jewelry again, wall art. Okay, so I was looking at jewelry. Most handmade sellers, a lot of handmade sellers on Etsy sell jewelry. Hopefully it's handmade. A lot of it's not, unfortunately. A lot of it's imported stuff from China, but that's the world we live in. But jewelry is a very interesting topic because it's a very high profit niche, can be. It is very dependent on people's tastes, so there's a lot of leeway with that. It's a little bit different than somebody who's like looking for a microphone set that they might be trying to sell, right? Jewelry is very personal. It depends on the type of person, who it's for. Is it for your mom? Is it for your sister? Is it for your wife? All that stuff kind of plays into it. And it's very competitive. So if we look here, it's a highly competitive market. All these keywords, super, super high competition, okay? So how do we get away from the competition? How do we start finding things that are not super out there and things that people would actually buy? Well, what I like to do is I like to look at things like birthstone jewelry. And why I like this, we're going to open it up in a new page here. Why I like this kind of stuff is because first of all, it's seasonal. Secondly, it's very personal to begin with, right? Every month has a different birthstone, and there's different things that go into that, right? We're talking about like Virgos and Cancers and different things relating to birthstone. Like it's all kind of semi-related. So when we pull this up, we can see all the different birthstones, right? And we can see by month. So we can see that the competition has already dropped significantly, but it's still pretty high. Like this is the other listings that exist. So there's like, let's see how much competition you could expect on the results page. So it's still quite a lot. But let's say we were looking at March, right? We want to get ahead of it. We're in January. Let's look at March. Let's dive in a little deeper and see what we've got. And while that loads, what you can start doing if you don't have this tool is you could start typing this stuff into Etsy's search bar and just seeing what comes up. The autocomplete is a really keen insight into what people are searching for, and you don't necessarily need to spend the $7 to do this, but I like to. Anyway, so we could see here March birthstone. Okay, so we've got different combinations of those keywords, and then it goes right into the high competition stuff right here, right? So we're right back to where we were, pretty much moving down. But up here, this is the stuff that's most relevant. March birthstone jewelry. Okay, fine. Let's look up what the March birthstone is, because I'm not super familiar with that. Let's see, March birthstone. So we're looking at aquamarine and bloodstone. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to open up let's do the bulk keyword tool. Aquamarine, and the other one was bloodstone. Analyze. Let's see if we can find anything here. Okay, we can. So we're going to dig into both of these. And we're going to end up with like 50 tabs at the end of this, because that's how research works. So we could already see that the competition's scaled back a bit. A lot of searches, very high click-through rate, right? So we already found a winner right here, actually. Bloodstone ring, very low competition, reasonable search volume, bloodstone ring. Let's take a look at Etsy itself, and let's see what we got here. So we've got red and green natural bloodstone. Okay, so we've got very inexpensive, and then we've got very expensive, right? $30, $6, $700, $10, $80, $10, $500. So we can see already that we've got like, this is a vintage ring. This is, knockoff stuff. $15, $20. So just looking at the pricing alone, you can already tell that there's somewhere in between that we could probably fit. Obviously, you have to know your market. You have to know how much it costs to acquire this and to put it together. But you can already tell that there's a huge difference between the high end and the low end of this market, right? You could get this ring for $11. You could get this ring for $1,100. So you could probably price something in like the $200 range and start capturing, like these guys, start capturing that part of the market. Actually, let's take a look at them, because they're running an ad right now, and we can see that they've got 1,200 reviews, pretty highly reviewed. Let's see what their shop is about and what they're doing. Okay, so these guys ship from Jersey. This is other stuff, more from this shop. So they're kind of hitting that market I'm talking about. Let's see, material. So we could choose what we want. And that is the bloodstone, right? So if we wanted to go just a little deeper here, let's go to their actual shop. And let's put in bloodstone. We can see that they've got a couple things, right? So they're covering a good segment of the audience. They've got drop earrings, they've got studs, two different types of studs, more earrings, and a wedding ring. So you could, theoretically, you could dig into the data some more, come up with something in this price range, and just hit a different part of the market, right? That could be going for an engagement ring. It could be going for a promise ring. You could be going for necklaces, like there's no necklace here. Just some ideas, okay? Now, let's jump back, okay? And let's keep going. So bloodstone ring, bloodstone necklace. There is competition. We were just talking about that. So let's see what comes up for bloodstone necklace. Okay, we've got some stuff, right? So we've got very low end, $24, very high end, 700. Looks like the same sort of jewelry. Actually, let's see something here. Bloodstone ring. Let's take a look here. Okay, this is interesting. So check out the name here, Denalian Jewelry. It's a very specific look. This is also a very specific look. So I'm suspicious of this actually being handmade. Let's see. Crest ring. Satellite chain, rope chain. I'm a little suspicious. Anyway, interesting stuff. So what I would do, and people usually don't have this tool, so don't worry about it if you don't have it, but I use a tool called Ahrefs, which is a keyword tool, and it lets me dig into the data a little further. This lets me actually look into the Google data and what's actually showing up in search, and this is starting to include AI search, so keep that in mind. So what we can do here is we could actually check within Etsy.com what it ranks for regarding bloodstone. So we can see what shows up in Google to begin with. And that's usually where the opportunity lies, is using a tool like this. So bloodstone jewelry is very generic. A ring, right? So they're showing up number 1 in the AI overview for Google. We'll just verify this. I'll just show you guys how this works right here. And if we were to dig in here, this might be an Etsy link. Well, Etsy's right here. So you can see the tool's pretty accurate. So we've got ring, earrings, bracelet. We didn't see a bracelet before. Necklace. And what I like to also do is I like to look at the actual URL here. Let me slide this over so you guys can see. I like looking at the actual URL slug because it shows you if this is an actual product page or if it's a segment of Etsy's results. So for instance, right here we see /market/bloodstone earrings. This tells me it's a results page. It might be a curated page by Etsy, but it's just a bunch of results, as you can see. And then what's also interesting is you'll actually see the listings themselves. So if we find one, a lot of this is the market, and that is also an opportunity. But right here is an actual listing, so we'll take a look. This is like a bloodstone die set, okay? And what's interesting about that, bloodstone dice. So they're showing up position 9 in Google for that result. Let's just verify that. Let's see here. Boo, boo, boo. And this stuff changes every day. It fluctuates, so it might not be. Yeah, it looks like it's right there, and or right here. This stuff fluctuates. It changes all the time. You can't harp too much on it. But what's interesting about a tool like this, is that you really start to dig into the audience, and you can start looking at like Bloodstone Amulet, right? And then feed it back into the tool. Like, let's actually see what shows up for that. Let's see if anything shows up for it, because it might not have any other listing. You could also see where people are searching this from. So if a lot of people in Australia really like it, you might want to consider shipping there, right? So we can see here, competition's like non-existent. It has a very low average search amount, right? So it's less than 20 per month. But we can start mixing and matching the keywords a little bit, right? For instance, if you wanted to just go for Bloodstone Amulet, right? Right now it goes to a market page. And there's really no direct match for that keyword. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could literally jump in front of everybody, jump to the top of this search page because nobody's actually doing an amulet. All right, so that's a way onto this page. And if we were to check this page, we can see here it doesn't get a ton of traffic, but the fact that it's number 4 for this keyword is pretty impressive. Let's just verify that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and right here. So it's like 4.5. Let's take a look here. And I clicked, but again, we're back on this page, right? So people are using pendant more than amulet. So that is a really good opportunity if that's your jams. Let's see what else we could find here. Let's go for something a little more high volume. And then I'll show you guys something really cool too. So we've got crystal. That's interesting. Bloodstone crystal. I'm just going to start closing some of these because it's too crowded. So we've got bloodstone crystal sphere. Now this is a little not my favorite because a crystal is kind of a larger purchase. Like if you're doing, I guess it could be a small one, but I'm thinking if you're going to do something large like this, it's very personal, or very personal rather. So you'll probably get more lookers than buyers for something like this. But the amulet I like because it's very, very, very specific. So March Birthstone Bloodstone is not specific enough for me, but a bloodstone ring or African bloodstone, or if you start looking at bloodstone necklaces or bracelets, that is where, or a band, that's the good stuff. So let's go one step further. We're going to go a little further out now. That's just looking at what Etsy ranks for. Let's now look at what everything ranks for just on the wide internet. Let's take a look here. Very low competition, tons of search volume. Okay, bloodstone jewelry. Let's dig a little deeper into this. Now this is interesting, right? Bloodstone jewelry. Bloodstone jewelry for women. That's a whole market right there. You could probably do it for men too. Let's do bloodstone necklace. Bloodstone necklace. And really what we want is we want to hit all the different types of jewelry. So if you're an AI user, you can use the free version. List out the most basic types of jewelry that someone might buy on Etsy. This is really just for ideas, right? I want to show you guys that you can really break out a niche. You can really break it down into something super specific because it's so important when you're trying to sell something. And this goes for whether you're running meta ads like the rest of this channel, or if you're affiliate marketing, or you're selling on Etsy like this, the more specific you could be with your offer, the higher the conversion rate will be, right? If somebody's looking for a plumber, they want a result for a plumber. We don't want to start showing them HVAC guys, right? Same thing with this. If somebody's looking for a bloodstone necklace, they're actually looking for a bloodstone necklace. Now we can start looking at the different types of necklaces out there and making sure that we hit all those segments, right? So for instance, a choker necklace. Let's see if anybody's selling a bloodstone choker necklace, right? Probably not. Oh, look at that. We have it, right? You see. So this is teeny tiny bloodstone, right? Bloodstone choker, bloodstone choker. Very interesting, right? Let's check the search volume here. And this is just what I do. You know, when you guys are doing your research, let's just see if choker even shows up here. Doesn't. Doesn't even show up. Let's just try Bloodstone choker. But this is really the work. You guys got to understand whatever niche you're in, right? You could be in leather making, you could be creating jewelry, whatever it is. You got to start digging in like this because this is where you're going to find the gold. Bloodstone choker, right? So an unknown amount of search volume, very, very, very low competition. So if you wanted to come in and just dominate that market, you could literally start creating, and not just for Bloodstone, right? We saw that this exists here already, right? But what about all the other birthstones, right? We have aquamarine as well. So is there an aquamarine set of chokers out there? Yes and no, right? So we do have a little here. But again, you start looking at what the data is showing, you start looking at what people are searching for, right? So if we were to look at aquamarine, same thing, aquamarine bracelet. Let's dig a little deeper into that. I'm going to close a couple tabs here because it's overwhelming for me. I want to keep track here. Let's take a look at aquamarine bracelet and see what shows up. So very non-existent competition on Google, over 2,000 searches a month, right? And if we were to search this, popular products, right? A lot of this is probably sponsored. Tiffany here, Zales, diamonds. Okay, I'm not seeing Etsy showing up. Right here, we've got one thing from Etsy, another thing from Etsy, and here some, right? So those are all opportunities. That shows you that Etsy has a fighting chance at showing your stuff here. And with the offsite ads, which is part of the ecosystem with Etsy, your stuff, you're getting paid ads at the top of search for a portion of your proceeds, which some people hate, some people like it. Anyway, all right, so aquamarine bracelet. Let's take a look here. Aquamarine bracelet, right? Aquamarine tennis bracelet, even more specific. Let's take a look here. Let's see if anybody's searching that. Okay, almost zero. It does have some competition, so we'll see. Let's see what comes up here. We've got tennis bracelet, right? But look at them. You know, they all kind of look the same. Like this one, Camilla, whatever, looks just like this one. So they're probably just drop shipping this stuff. Same with Ring Studios. Same with these guys, right? So if you actually are a handmade jeweler, you can easily come up with something that's unique, that stands out, because everybody's just doing the easy thing. They're just doing lab-grown diamonds and drop shipping the stuff from China. And they're charging a lot of money for it. So if you came in with something that was really quite beautiful, you can charge a premium price on top of what they're charging because you're actually doing it. You're not just scamming here, and you can do some cool stuff with it. Let's look a little bit further here. Let's see what shows up for Etsy itself. I want to see what kind of aquamarine stuff they show up for. And that's really just because it might give us some last ideas here. Aquamarine stone, aquamarine birthstone, right? Tons of traffic here. And they're showing up. You see they're in position 68, 26, 60, right? They're not showing up super high in search. But again, that's an opportunity because if you were to start putting this stuff out there, it's going to bring them up to the top of search. And that also tells you that other people have not yet done it. Okay? So aquamarine casts, let's see. This is position 60, right? And it's for the market again. It's not the actual listing. So aquamarine casts, That might be like a show or something. Let's see, aquamarine engagement ring, 4,000 searches a month. That's a lot of search volume, zero competition. Position 40. This is showing the market, so that's the results page. I'm going to copy this. Let's put it in here. And while that works, I'll throw it in here too. We'll just check it. So we've got aquamarine engagement rings. Decent prices for it too, right? And let's see, are they looking the same? I guess they're somewhat unique. This one's a little like this, kind of. General gist. But again, this is your opportunity. You can come in here with something kick-ass and show up at the top. A lot of this stuff kind of looks the same to me. I don't know. I'm not a jewelry aficionado, as you could tell. But there's opportunity in here. Let's see what the results are here. Aquamarine engagement ring. Very reasonable search volume on the platform itself. Very high click-through rate, 130%. It means people are clicking a lot. Competition is reasonable. And again, you start mixing and matching it, right? Start going after the birthstone, the month, the colors. Start going after the reasons to give this ring, right? It's not just for an engagement. Could be for graduation. Could be for birthday, Valentine's Day, whatever. Start mixing and matching the stuff in, and you can start winning really easily. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this weird video that I put together. I thought it was just fun. I like doing the research, and I figured I'd just like turn my camera on and show you guys my process for digging into things. I gotta be honest, I am thinking about putting together some kind of small course on this kind of stuff, showing you guys how to do the research a little deeper, showing you guys the tools that I use, and also digging into some digital items, because I think digital items are, first of all, it's a huge market on Etsy. It's a huge market all over the place. People have their feelings about whether it's good or bad, but let's face facts. They're allowing digital items for a reason. And if you can create something that provides a ton of value, I can show you how to do that. And I need you guys to drop a comment down below. Let me know if that's something that interests you. And make sure you're subscribed. I'll catch you soon. Thanks for watching.